that in advance of the hearing that, as of right now, is still scheduled for Thursday morning? Is that deliberate in terms of trying to make sure that these allegations are in the public eye before that hearing convenes on Thursday morning?
Well, that's one of the factors, absolutely, Rachel, and we've asked the committee to allow her to testify. We've asked the committee to turn this over to the FBI because, to your point earlier in the show, we believe all of these allegations, not just the allegations from my client, not just the allegations from the other clients that I have that are corroborating witnesses, but also Dr. Ford, Ms. Ramirez, and others. All of these allegations should be tested. They should be investigated by the FBI. There should not be a rush to judgment, either for or against Brett Kavanaugh. You know, Justice Scalia's seat was kept open for over 400 days, Rachel. There's no reason why the Senate needs to be rushing a vote as it relates to Brett Kavanaugh. This should be a fair and thorough process.
In the email that you sent to the Senate Judiciary Committee, they wrote to you saying you have made claims publicly that you represent a client who has credible information about our nominee. We want to know what those claims are. We will investigate. You then wrote back with a series of questions that you said the committee should pose to Brett Kavanaugh. And those questions are very provocative, and they imply very serious allegations, not just about sexual misconduct, but about what would be serious criminal misconduct. Are you, in fact, and is your client, in fact, going to allege serious criminal behavior here? That is what you are implying in your communication thus far with the committee.
Yes, Rachel, I believe that when these allegations are surfaced within the next 48 hours, there will be no question that Brett Kavanaugh is not fit to sit on the U.S. Supreme Court, and we will ask for a thorough investigation relating to these allegations, as well as allegations of Dr. Ford and others. We understand the seriousness of this. We do not make these allegations lightly, and ultimately this will be, as in most cases, a fight for credibility, whether people believe Brett Kavanaugh, whether they believe my client, as well as corroborating witnesses, and hopefully whether they believe Mark Judge. We believe it's inexcusable, Rachel. It is inexcusable for Chairman Grassley and others to be covering up the testimony of Mark Judge. They clearly do not want that individual to testify.
Your focus on Mr. Judge, is it about Mr. Judge's own alleged bad behavior, or is there something about Mr. Judge specifically that you feel like is crucial to shedding light on the allegations against Brett Kavanaugh? Mark Judge isn't being nominated for anything. Nobody here is on criminal trial. The issue here, whether or not Mr. Kavanaugh is fit to be on the nation's highest court. What is it about about Mark Judge, who does not want to testify, that's so necessary in terms of getting to the bottom of this as far as you're concerned?
Because Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh were effectively, Rachel, joined at the hip for an extended period of time during the years at issue. They participated in various conduct together, which we believe is absolutely disqualifying as it relates to Brett Kavanaugh serving on the U.S. Supreme Court. We believe Mark Judge's testimony is critical. We believe my client's testimony is critical. Ms. Ramirez's testimony is critical, as well as Dr. Ford, as well as additional corroborating witnesses. Admittedly, the committee is not designed to hear from all of these witnesses over the lengthy period of time that it will take to get to the bottom of this. That's why they should use the FBI to properly investigate this. Earlier tonight, Brett Kavanaugh said that he wants to be heard, that he wants a fair process. Well, that's why we have the FBI. He'll have every opportunity to be heard. All of these accusers, all of these witnesses should be heard, especially Mark Judge and my client.
In terms of your client, again, you said that there will be a public airing of what she says happened to her and what she witnessed within the next 48 hours. That would precede the Senate hearing. But Mr. Avenatti, if what you are describing here is criminal behavior, and if this was something that dates to Mr. Kavanaugh's time in high school, depending on what exactly your client is going to be alleging here. If this is a criminal matter, the case could be made that this is something that shouldn't necessarily be litigated through the Senate. This is something that should be handled as a matter of criminal law. Will there be a criminal filed? Is that something that you've addressed with your client already? Will you expect that there will be a law enforcement element to this if this alleged behavior is as serious as you're suggesting?
I think, Rachel, there very well be or may be a criminal complaint made relating to this conduct. We don't believe a statute of limitations would apply to it, and we may very well pursue criminal charges relating to the perpetrators at issue relating to what my client alleges. But again, there should not be a rush for this information to be presented to the committee. There should not be a rush for a vote within the committee or the U.S. Senate relating to Brett Kavanaugh. What is the rush? This is a search for the truth and nothing but the truth. And Brett Kavanaugh should have an opportunity to present his side. My client should have an opportunity to present her side, as well as others. But the bottom line here is this is a search for the truth, period.
Michael Avenatti, who's now representing a client who is making allegations against Judge Brett Kavanaugh. Mr. Avenatti again saying that those allegations will be made by his client herself within the next 48 hours. Thank you for joining us tonight, sir. It's nice to have you here.